Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem HaRakah Kodash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and shalom to the hopeful elect. This is Payal of the GMS London camp, and this is News and Prophecy, Prophecy and News. I have an article here from Zero Hedge, alright, and the title reads, Maxine passports could be mandatory for travel, shopping, and even the movies, CNN says. All right. So now this is dealing with an article, a topic that I touched on a week or two ago, a week or so, dealing with over here in the UK, how the government basically had contracts out for them a month prior, I believe in late October or late November, sometime around then, to basically different companies to start making identification passes or passports basically that allows people to navigate through society and are open to do things like travel, shopping, going to the movies. So now this is a a pairing, the exact same thing, but for America now, all right? So I'm gonna delve into this article, pick the bits out, and Lord willing, you be edified. So it reads, it says, the C19 vaccine isn't even in the hands of most Americans yet, and already CNN is prepping the masses for the idea of a vaccine passport, which it says could be needed to travel and even shop and go to the movies again, all right? In order to do those and that's even, when it says shop, it just made me think no man will be able to buy or sell save he that have the mark of the beast, have the mark basically, which is the mark of the beast, all right? In order to do those activities, you may eventually need something in addition to the vaccine, a vaccine passport application, all right? And I mentioned it in the video I did before that just because you get the vaccine once, it don't mean that's going to be it. It's one and done. No, because as you can see, they're talking about mutations now. So it stands to reason that basically what you have is that every season you get vaccinated, okay, consistently, and then you have to renew your pass to maneuver in society. That's a possibility. I'm not saying that's what it is, but looking at the scope of things, that's a likelihood, all right? So it says in order to do those activities, you may eventually need something in addition to the vaccine, a vaccine passport application. An article from this week proudly proclaims, rest assured that nerds are on it. CNN playfully writes, possibly hoping to distract readers from the idea of authoritating globalization with a joke or two, lightening the blow. The article notes that several technology companies have begun developing apps to upload details of vaccinations. So you got the same thing going on in America, but from a different angle, all right, dealing with apps. And mind you, where technically the UK is ahead of the curve in that sense, because you had the UK government roll out, a failed attempt on the track and trace app. I mean, actually, no, you actually have it working right now. Because I know a former colleague of mine actually uses it, right? So basically, those apps, I don't know, unless a brother can correct me or anyone can point, or brother, sister, anyone can point me in a direction as to where it's already been established. But as far as I know, there isn't an app out there in the US, all right, in Babylon the Great, all right? So it says, as if the tech giants didn't have enough of your data or enough information about you. These companies could require you to show your credentials at concert venues, show stadiums, movie theaters, offices, and even countries. Right, so basically, you won't be allowed to engage. This will be the new normal. The new normal would be you have to have, as you can see this picture here, you have to have an ID pass that basically allow you to maneuver within society and utilize it the way you once knew it. Alright, so there's no way you ain't going to the pictures no more to watch no movies or night unless you got this pass. Alright. So it says, but don't worry. The article notes the Common Trust Network, an initiative by Geneva-based non-profit, the Commons Project, and the World Economic Forum, has partnered with several airlines to help with the project. The app allows you to upload medical data that will generate a QR code to travel. Wow, let me read this again. All right. But don't worry, the article notes the Common Trust Network, an initiative by Geneva based non-profit, the Commons Project, and the World Economic Forum, has partnered with several airlines to help with the project. The app allows you to upload medical data that will generate a QR code for travel. Right, so you're gonna have all your information uploaded, and what they're gonna do is out of that all that information, they can produce a QR code, which obviously a QR code, if, you scan it and then it presents it's a link or hyperlink to information. So all that information you upload on there that produces that QR code, when someone scans that QR code, they'll have access to all of that information. All right, sound familiar? All right. Revelations, the 13th chapter. No man that can buy or sell will be able to buy or sell, save he that have the mark. And also here is wisdom. Here's the number of his name. 6. How it goes. 666 basically. So basically, with that being said, the mark would be it's the same thing, because the 666 stands for the barcode on the RFID chip. So it's basically all this technology is coming to an whole, basically a ubiquitous technology where you can utilize the Internet of Things. All right. So it says, because nothing says secure quite like the World Economic Forum having access to your medical records. Thomas Crampton, Chief Marketing and Communications Officer for the Commons Project, said, you can be tested every time you cross a border. You cannot be vaccinated every time you cross a border. Right? So I believe, let me read on. IBM possibly bored and looking for something to involve itself in other than gaming its annual effective tax rate and buying back stock, also developed its own app called Digital Health Pass. It allows you to keep your credentials in a mobile wallet. All right, and let me read on. So a mobile wallet, like I got a spy phone, and basically, due to this bloody pandemic, I've had to utilize a lot of contactless payments, and I had to engage in using the wallet on my phone, basically. So that same information could be uploaded onto that wallet on your phone, and it can be called upon as and when needed immediately to grant you access to wherever you want to go. As you can see in the image right there, right, that's the IBM one. So it says Jenny Wagner, who leads the exposure notification initiatives for Linux Foundation Public Health, told CNN about challenges early on in coordinating a digital notification response to C19. I think where exposure notification ran into some challenges was more of a piecemeal implementation choices, lack of federal leadership, where each state had to go it alone, and so each state had to figure it out independently. The Linux Foundation has also partnered with IBM and Common Pass to help develop universal standards for a Maxine app. Right, so you have all these. So it's basically all these different companies are jousting for position to establish their app and kind of muscle their way into the monopoly over it all right. And obviously they'll be lobbying, doing all those different type of things, maybe even skewing the numbers. But the point is that these apps are gonna give way ultimately to they're gonna give way ultimately to you know they're building blocks for the RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast. Brian Bellendorf, executive director of Linux Foundation, said if we're successful, you should be able to say, I got a vaccine certificate on my phone that I got when I was vaccinated in one country, with a whole set of its own kind of health management practices that I used to get on a plane to an entirely different country. And when I presented in a new country of vaccination credential, so could so I could go to the concert that was happening indoors, for which attendance was limited to those who have demonstrated that they have had the vaccine. All right, so it's see that what's just being said there. That basically is letting it be known that look, that's basically talking about a world government, because dealing with the education system. For example, the UK, they say the education system over there is highly esteemed. It's one of the places in the world where you can get a degree at and go anywhere in the world, and it's highly regarded. Whereas you got somewhere like Africa, somewhere like Nigeria or Ghana, all right, because I got relatives that are from over there, all right. Well, I'm from over there, but when I say relatives from over there or relatives even over there right now, basically they were educated over there, all right, and the education system that they have access to, basically they're light years ahead. Okay, you got them kids, what they're learning and the kind of culture and conditioning. You have to get like an A. Everyone gets A's. If you get a B, you get laughed at, kind of thing. Reason why I'm saying that is because what I'm really saying is they're intelligent, all right, them kids over there. But guess what? When they come over here and they got a degree from that country, it isn't recognized, even though they outperform most of the other children or even adults in the Western world, all right? But that shows you that it's about what? Certificates, all right? So that's why I'm saying there would have to be a standard, all right, that would be upheld, that would be well recognized. So that means that the vaccine that's used would have to be the vaccine that's used in the Western world would have to be the same vaccine that's used in any other world if they want access and freedom of movement, just like people in the Western world, all right? And that's why it presents a problem then for countries like China, Russia, or Russia, China, because they don't have access to the same vaccines, obviously, and things of that nature. But the point being is that it'll lead to a governance of the world by one set of people, basically, all right? And it's basically bringing the world together, all right? So it's a one world government. So Renan says he concluded it should be inter, inter, interoperable in the same way that email is interoperable. I'm probably butchering that. The same way that the web is interoperable. Right now, we are in a situation where there's some moving parts that get us closer to that, but I think there's a sincere commitment for everybody in the industry. A point of entry, whether that's a border, whether that's a venue, is going to want to know, did you get the see what I just say? And I'm doing this impromptu. Shit, I'm doing this impromptu. I'm doing this impromptu, yeah. But that's the obvious way it's gonna go. It's gonna go that way, whereby you're gonna need the avant-garde, the standard Maxine. See, I said it. But that's the spirit, man. Let me read it again. A point of entry, whether that's a border, whether that's a venue, is going to want to know: did you get Maxine? All right. Did you get the Bears Maxine? Did you get the Dragons Maxine? so they can make a decision accordingly, all right? Because they're only going to regard, see, they named it by a brand, they're only going to regard that one because that's the one they recognize, all right? And we're sure that the front of the line to uh, help lobby for these new draconian rules will look something like this. All right, so they're basically talking about, I don't know who that is, but I know it's CNN, I'm guessing the head of it or whatever, owner. So yeah, man. So I ain't gonna go into the scripture. You already know where it is. This is all building blocks being laid. It's really more or less an update, alright, on the chip, the RFID chip. So with that, I pray you're edified. Till the next one, I say shalom.